this video, we're diving into mixed references, the secret to copying formulas across big ranges without breaking a sweat. Mixing references is where you fix either the row or the column, but not both, within a formula. Let's walk through 3 practical examples. First up, fixing only the column. We have total costs and 2 types of shipping, eco and premium, where each type of fruit has its own unique cost for each type of shipping. We want to know what the total cost, including the unique shipping cost, is. But instead of writing 2 separate formulas, one for the eco column and one for the premium column, let's just write one in the topmost cell and copy that down and across. So we ask ourselves, what part of the formula needs to stay fixed? Well, as we paste the formula across columns, we want the formula to always pull the total cost from column E. So we need to lock column E, that is, put a $sign in front of that reference. However, as each fruit type has its own shipping cost, we want to make sure that as we paste the formula down rows, that the total cost moves from one fruit type to the next. That is, it moves from row 6 to row 7 to row 8 and so on. That means we need to keep the row unlocked. Now, when it comes to the part of the formula that adds the shipping costs, we want that to move with us as we move down rows and across columns. Therefore, we don't need to lock the column reference or the row reference. Putting it all together, our formula is this. So, as a quick recap, all we needed to lock in this formula was the column E reference. Everything else stays unlocked. And now, when we copy that across and down, you have one formula doing the work of many. Next, let's look at an example where we fix only the row reference. Let's say we want to add a fixed shipping cost of £1.75, which we've put in this helper cell in F4, to all of the total costs. Again, start by asking yourself, what should stay fixed? As we are copying the formula down rows within the same column, we don't need to worry about what's happening with any of the column references. But when it comes to the row references, we need to make sure of 2 things. First, as we move down the rows, we want the total cost to update for each fruit type. So we need to keep the row reference of the total cost cell unlocked. However, as we move down the rows, we want the shipping cost to always pull from row 4. Remember, that's where we have our helper cell. So we want the row reference of the shipping cost to be locked. That means we need to pop a $sign in front of the 4. So our formula is now this. Now, as you drag it down the column, you're always referencing that 175 from row 4, just as you intended. And finally, let's look at a formula with multiple mixed references. This is the true power of using absolute and relative references correctly. In this example, we want to add the correct shipping rate, eco or premium, to the total costs, but we want to be smart and only write one formula in the first cell here, which will work for all the rows and columns. So, what do we want to stay fixed? Well, let's break it down reference by reference. The total cost should always come from column E, so we want to lock that column. And the shipping rate should always come from row 4, so we want to lock that row. The rest of the references, they can stay unlocked. That is, they can stay relative. So that means that they can pick up the correct values as the formula is copied across and down. This means our formula looks like this. And now, when we copy it across and down, it all works beautifully. You've just written your first mixed reference formula. This is where your formulas go from basic to brilliant. You're not just plugging in maths, you're building spreadsheets that scale, flex, and just work without constant tweaks and fixes.